Hey, welcome to the Jennifer O'Brien Show. I am your host, Jennifer O'Brien. I am so excited. I have a very funny lady with me today. She's a comedian, she's an author, and she's just a really funny gal, Dorie McLemore. Hello, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
How
Good
are
morning.
you?
You said it right, Macklemore, like the rapper.
Yeah. I'm getting some things. I'm firing on all cylinders. I mean, right?
You are.
It's only going to go up from here, and keep going up, and then
Yes.
hopefully we don't come down. So I did say author, and oh my goodness, what is this?
Oh,
Hello, this is your book I'm holding up. Hope it
yes.
looks good on you. That's you.
Yay.
A
Yes, it is me
comedian's
on the cover, which has pluses and minuses, but that's okay.
a comedian's joy-inducing daily devotional for women. And let me tell you, ladies, it's on Amazon. If you want to have a devotional in the morning and also get a good laugh, this is the book for you. So
Yay.
very funny. We're going to talk a little bit about this as we kind of keep going. So Dorie, how are you this morning? Talk to me. Talk to me. How you doing?
Talk about it. No, that was my New Jersey coming out. I'm
Yeah.
originally from New Jersey, but I moved when I was 10, so I have really no accent. I don't know why I said it like that, but
you know how to do a really good Jersey, is what you say.
sometimes, yeah. I mean, if I'm around my family a little bit, I get ticked off. Is the go to the mall, let's talk about it, take my dog with me. I mean, that's it. But that's the extent of.
That's it.
That's all I have. So
it's good though.
I can't. Thanks.
Really good.
But
no taxes at the mall there in Jersey, right?
I know.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to go shopping in Jersey?
Exactly. I know. My dad actually grew up in Jersey, like around Jersey City, but he doesn't sound like that. I don't know. I don't hear it anymore, but everyone else is like, yeah, he has an accent.
It's there.
Yeah.
So tell us now you're in Texas now, right?
Yes. I've been in Texas over 10 years, and I joke that I am working on a dual citizenship here because, I'm not, I've been told I'm not from Texas. Like,
Yeah.
I can't say that. I just live here. But yeah, my husband was born and raised here. He's native to Texas.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My mother-in-law just recently forgave me for that. So that's good because she wasn't thrilled that he married a Yankee. So
he married outside of Texas, and she had a problem with that.
It was not good. Yeah. First, yeah. They love me. They do. But she was definitely hoping for, I think, a Texan wife for her husband,
She wanted a Southern belle.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone who can cook.
Got a Yankee candle. And, come on.
Yeah.
No, but you're sweet. Like, hey, come on. You're super sweet and cute, and you got that like little raspy voice. So, like, why doesn't she? Does that? Some people.
I think because my idea of cleaning is different, and she owns a cleaning company. Yeah.
Oh, that's
like,
wow. Oh, whoa, hello. Yeah. Let's park it here. Are you kidding now?
No, I'm not kidding.
Mother-in-law that knows how to clean really well, and she comes into your house. I mean, can you imagine the anxiety alone?
No.
Wow.
No, she his parents run a cleaning company. So like don't just like critique like people's, homes, but how like they know how to clean them well. And so I'm like, oh, I am probably a story for them. Like
that would be like, okay, so I have the opposite. My mother-in-law, she's so laid back, and she's, if anything, she has trouble getting rid of stuff, in her house. So she has no problem coming here and doesn't really critique my cleaning. Although I love that because there's times like, I'm sorry, I didn't get to the bathroom before you got here. And I know she's not holding it to me. She's not like holding that against me. And
they don't say
we all have our stuff.
They don't like say it, but I'm like, they've got to be thinking it. Like, this is definitely. I feel like there's a little bit of hoarder. Like, it's not like everything that I hoard. It's just like, I don't like to say goodbye. Like, I'm like, my kids will like want to get rid of some of their toys. And sometimes I'm like, but who gave that to you? They're like,
oh, you'd guilt them into keeping it.
rid of this. And I'm like, I know, but isn't it special to you still? Like, I don't know why.
Isn't that yeah, like, isn't that Krusty the Clown mug really special? And they're like, "No, I don't." Yeah, and my dog like, we grew up moving constantly, so my
Oh
mom
gosh.
trained in me, you just throw it out, throw it out, throw it out, throw it out. My husband, very opposite. His like, as I said, his mom doesn't throw hardly anything away. So, I've kinda trained that into my girls. My youngest concerns me, like, she literally throws everything away. I'm like, "Do you want," and I'm okay with like, "Yeah, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it," but she's like I'm like, yearbooks and, like, trophies. I'm like, "Do not want anything?" It's like she's trying to wipe and clear her entire existence. I don't anyway, that might be a
It's
deeper
like
problem.
I'm preparing for the CIA.
Going anywhere. Why are we so quick to get rid of, um, these things? So, yeah, that's interesting. So how long have you been married?
25 years this year. Yeah, I
Wow,
mean, we
congratulations.
this past summer, so it's 25 and change now, so yeah.
Wow, okay, okay, and you have I know you have 3 how many kids?
I
Yeah,
have
3?
3 kids. I have a 22-year-old son and then 2 daughters, 19 and 15. Wow, I took a
Yeah,
second there for me to think of that. Yeah, 19 and 15 are the girls, so yeah.
okay, okay. Wow.
Mhm.
Almost got 3 adult children. You've got
I
3 more years
know,
of
I can't
adult.
even I'm the youngest one, I'm like, "You're not allowed to grow up." Like, I'm just like, "That's not even I can't do it." Like, I'm just like I'm like,
Yeah,
"Just stay. Just can we
mhm.
just pause here for a bit? Because this is crazy." Yeah, but she's, like, going on 37. I think she's really, you know, she's very smart and yeah, she's giving us a little run for her money, but she's fun. She's a lot of
Yeah,
fun, and,
yeah, you always gotta have one that'll keep you on your knees praying to
uh
Jesus, right?
yes, yes. Keep me on
So,
my praying.
what what'd you say?
Keep me praying, those things, yeah.
Mhm. So, tell me, I wanna know, you're a comedian, you're funny, like, tell
Yay.
me tell take us from the beginning. How did you get started doing stand-up comedy?
That is a great question. What's funny is my family were not they were not surprised, and I was so surprised. Like, I was like when I tried to I was telling them, "Yeah, I'm
Mhm,
gonna be a comedian." They're like, "Makes sense to us." Like, they were just, like, so on board very fast, and I was like, "What? Like, why did you think that?"
mhm,
But it hit me that I always tell people, like, my parents are not even, like, they're not entertainers. I didn't grow up in an entertainment family. It just they celebrated, though, our storytelling. They celebrated our, creativity, and we were always like, every dinner was not a sit down dinner. It was always like a stand up and tell a story dinner. Like, somebody would be
mhm.
standing up, like, "Okay, you know what happened today?" Like, and just, like, acting it out, and, like, you know, and then she said, and then he said, and then, "Oh my gosh," and then this happened. I mean, it was like there's this, like, energy about, like, having fun together. It was just so celebrated to tell a story, or, be funny. And,
Mhm,
my sisters and I, like, we would, make radio shows on our little tape decks, like the little recorders that you
mhm.
could tape record stuff, and we would, like, pretend we were on the radio and
Oh,
announcing
yeah.
things, or I mean, just we made videos from my grandfather gave us this old video camera that actually
Mhm.
still had to be attached to the TV and to work. And I was like, "I want to learn how to do this." I read the whole manual front to back, and,
Wow.
like, decided to learn how to do this. And my sisters wouldn't play with me for a little while, and I was like, "I'm gonna make Barbie." I made stuff with Barbies, and I, like, recorded Barbie news.
No, that's
Yeah,
funny.
just we were just always doing stuff. My dad made a puppet stage in our playroom, and we would bought us puppets, and we were just always, yeah. I never learned, though. Never learned
Never learned
ventriloquism.
the art of the puppet. Mhm,
I couldn't do
mhm,
it. I was
mhm.
terrible. So we had to be beyond, behind the the little stage, otherwise
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. So
You're like, "No, I need to be out in front of the puppets."
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like,
"Puppets, get behind me." Yeah.
yeah. So then basically, I mean, that's not where it started, but I I was doing something in my church. I was doing a lot of things at my church, like a kids ministry and things like that. And we ended up going on a women's retreat. And I went to we were praying at the altar or something, and I was just talking to God and saying, what's next? What do you want, for me? And he was saying,
Mhm.
I felt like it's not like he was talking out loud. I just felt in my heart him saying,
Mhm.
when you gonna start speaking? And because like a long time ago, I felt like the Lord had said that I would be like a mouthpiece for him at one
Mhm.
point. And so I was like, well, God, you can't just go up on stages here and on earth. You have to be asked to speak. They could arrest you if you just go on the stage and
Right.
start speaking. And I felt like the Lord just said, just say yes. Like the next time you're asked, basically, just say
Mhm.
yes. And I thought, I'm
Mhm.
off the hook. No one's going to ask me to speak randomly.
Mhm.
And the next morning at the same retreat, my women's ministry director comes up to us, to me, and says, Dorie, I heard you had the ladies up laughing last night. I'd like you to be our entertainment speaker at our next women's conference. And I was like,
Wow.
what is an entertainment speaker? I mean, I really had no context. I had no idea
Yeah.
what she was talking about. And I forgot all about what God told me to do. And I told her I'd pray about it instead. And I knew that
Mhm.
that was no. I was saying no, but just politely in a Christian way saying
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
And
The Christian way to say no is
yeah,
prolonging it and then coming back, say, "Wow, I just don't feel the
yeah.
Lord wants me to do that."
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. The
Mhm.
Christian way out of things.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I was driving home and it hit me. I was like, I was supposed to say yes. And I called her, and I was like, I was supposed to say yes to that, but I still didn't know what it was. And so I was like, I mean, I've heard of comedians at that point, but I wasn't allowed growing up to watch them. They were all, in my mind,
Mhm.
comedy was, something dirty, like they talk swore all the time, or there was, it was on late night and I was never allowed to stay up and watch late night stuff. And it was like I just wasn't in that world. And but I did love I don't know if you've ever heard of Patsy Claremont. She's with
Mm.
she's with Women of Faith. Anyway, she was a
Yeah.
speaker, and she's when I was like 16, my mom got a tape of
Mhm.
her speaking, and we would listen to it over and over again because she was hilarious, but she was like giving the word of God, but with totally being funny the whole time. And these
Oh, got it,
stories,
got it. Mhm.
like we would tell the stories to other people, and it was just, and that was the first time I saw comedy in the light of like, this isn't, you know, like late night on a show or like in a smoky comedy club or something. It was like
Mhm.
using it, to speak. And um, I just loved it. And so when she asked me to be the entertainment speaker, I was like, at least I have that in my mind. Like, okay, maybe I
Mhm.
can do something like that. So she asked me to do 30 minutes on stage, Jen. Like, I was
Ooh,
like,
first time. Mhm.
did not know that that was like ridiculous to, like, to start with a 30-minute set. Now I'd be like, that's you start with 3 minutes, not 30 minutes. And I had like 6 months before the event, and I just had a notepad, and I would just write stuff down that made me laugh or like I thought of.
Yeah,
Um, and sometimes I'd wake up laughing and write stuff down. I was like, God just was like, here's some
yeah,
material.
yeah.
And it went really well because I know that if it had not gone well, I never would have done it again. And God knew
Right.
that too, that was going to be the end. So it had to go well. Went
Yeah.
well. I was in love with comedy after that. Like, I just loved being on stage. I loved doing it. And it kind of word of mouth after that kind of happened. And I made a crappy website myself, with no website skills. And it was bad.
Mhm.
I think I told you this before, but I think I used, I didn't have money for like a photographer to like do a photo shoot. And
Yeah.
so I went to the mall and went in one of those photo booths.
Oh,
And I
glamour
took a
shots? Oh, no,
microphone.
the photo booth.
Yeah, like a like the ones that you sit in
Oh,
and it takes
oh,
your picture, like it has, The
Yes,
photo.
that's how you got a headshot.
Yes. And I took my microphone in there, and I was like,
No.
"I'm gonna make a lot of funny faces and be like, 'Yeah,' and, like, do this stuff."
Yeah.
And I told my husband, I said, "Take the kids to the food court or something. I don't want you to be part of this. I'm embarrassed. Like, let me do this." And so he went, and I didn't know because this was, like, 16 years ago, but it was must have been one of the first, um, ever, photo booths that had a screen on the outside of it. Yeah.
No, they could see you?
Yes, and so I was in there and I'm, like, hamming it up. I mean, I did one photo like, strip and I was like, "Oh, that was not enough. I should be more animated." And so
Yeah,
I was in there and I'm, like, I mean, doing all this. I was, like, doing this stuff with the microphone. I'm, like,
yeah.
I have no idea what I thought that was supposed to look like, but I all of a sudden, I'm done and I go to come out and there's, like, a small crowd outside,
No.
and these girls were, like,
Oh.
"You're hilarious." Like, and they're doing this and I'm, like, oh my gosh. It was so
Yes.
mortifying. But for years, that was like my like photo strips were like my theme on my website and it was my
That's
headshot. I
great.
mean, it was so not bad for like $3. So.
Well, okay, can I just say, and I'm not surprised because I think that's what I've learned and got to know about you. You it's like some people have to like go find comedy. You know what I mean? But
It,
comedy finds you
it
and it's
does.
through your stories. And I feel like I have some similar things. Like I don't even have to look for it. It happens. And I feel like that's you. Like I remember the first time I met you, it was at the SheCon. It was at like a
Yes.
women's comedy entertainment conference.
Yes.
And in front of we were kind of in a breakout session, or not even, it was that evening. We were all circled around in a lobby at a hotel. And you began to tell the story about signing up for some PTA event, and all of a sudden you had to make like pounds of pasta salad. And you were like, what did I commit to? And then the story of you getting this big tub, and filling it with pasta and then putting dressing and stuff and all, and then you're literally all in hands, and then I think you lose a wedding ring or something. Like, I just remembered this
Yeah.
visual of you and pasta or
Oh yeah.
something, and it was the funniest. I mean, you had this whole circle of us,
Oh my
and I was
gosh.
like, "This woman is
Oh my gosh.
just
Well,
so
because I
funny."
don't think it through. That's the problem. Like I get into something and all of a sudden I'm like, I was like, I thought, first of all, that people eat each, like, a full s like, serving of pasta.
Yeah.
With pasta salad, like, you get, like, a spoonful, and some people say, "No, they don't want it." Like and there are, like, 80 people there, and I thought, "I need to make 80 servings of this pasta salad," and it was like, that's not a plate of no one's eating a whole plate of pasta, and so it was like, I think, I don't know, 7 boxes of pasta, and, like, I didn't hit me, like, I don't have a pot big enough for this. I don't have a bowl big enough for this. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have utensils that hit, like so I was like, as the night was progressing, like, if I had to do 5 hard-boiled eggs, well, now I'm making 40 hard-boiled I can't even do the math. It was, like, a lot of and it was I never think anything is gonna take any time, so I started
Yeah.
at, like, 11 o'clock at night, and, like, so through the night, I'm making this pasta salad, and it's like, I don't have a bowl big enough, so I had, like, to use a tub, like a plastic tub, and then my utensil didn't hit the bottom, and I'm like, "I can't even, like, stir this," and that was when it was like, yeah, that I just rolled up my sleeves, and I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna just this is how it's gonna be right here." It was a hilarious and then I actually did not know that I don't have a refrigerator that can fit a tub in it. Like, I just spent hours on this, and it's gonna all go bad. I mean, it was just the worst. So I took every frozen vegetable out of my freezer and stuck it in there, like, to try to keep it cold until we could get it. So, yeah, that's what happens all the time. Like, yeah, it's like because I
I
don't
mean,
think about it.
it's a funny story, and you know what? I'm the same way. Like, I have this incredible like I go from being like not doing anything to have like this incredible confidence. It's like I say yes to like the most random things where I'm like that most normal people would be like, let me really think on that. And I'm just like, yeah. And then that's what gets me Like, I wrestled a Jello cup on my living room floor a couple years ago because this America's Got Talent woman had asked me to do a skit, and it was like I was so quick to say yes, and then when then I realized she wanted me to wrestle Jello. I was like, I'm not filling up a baby tub in my house and wrestling Jello. And I thought I'll
Wrestling
wrestle
Jello.
a Jello cup, and it was just one of those moments where here is a middle-aged woman on my yoga mat or whatever, just like a mat on the floor with a yoga with and then I'm like, I really was like, this is embarrassing. And I pray to God it doesn't go anywhere from here. But I already said I would do it. So I'm gonna finish what I started and do as best as, and it was pretty funny in my opinion. But it was the dumbest. It was one of those things where it's like, why did I say yes so fast? So fast.
You need to say, "I'll pray about it more." And I need to learn to do that too, because
I need to take the Christian way
and a
out.
lot of it's cooking stuff. Like, I'm like, why would I ever say, like, I think I have a story in my book about the baking exchange and how my parents and Brian comes from a Texas family and they bake and they cook awesome. And they're like, instead of gifts this year, we're gonna do a baking exchange. And you just bake your goodies and then you put them in the tins and then you mail them to people. And I was like, okay, this is like, I was newly like married. It wasn't like maybe our first or second Christmas. And I was like, I need to impress them.
Yeah,
And I had all these great ideas. I was like brainstorming for a long time. And then I was like, fudge, like that's like quintessential Christmas fudge.
Rachel
And
raised 5-minute fudge. That's what I've done for
but
years. Rachel raised 5-minute fudge. I found the recipe years ago. It was the only thing I ever made for anybody. Takes 5 minutes.
I wish, that would have been great, Jen. Where were you with that? Because it was not, this is before Google. So I don't know where I even got these recipes, but the one I did find had cream cheese in it. And I didn't know, I never made fudge before.
Yeah.
And it was like, why does this have cream cheese? But I didn't question. I mean, I did, but I was like, okay, I'm going with it. Yeah. I made like a vat of this fudge and then realized I can't mail it. Like it has cream cheese in it. And it really was not even like, it wasn't baked. It was a no bake fudge with cream cheese. And so it actually was like it tastes like chocolate cream cheese. Like that's all it tastes like. It was terrible. So I was like, let's forget that. Then I had like, I'll just make nuts. I'll get bunches of nuts and make these glazed nuts. And I don't know why I thought that was a good idea because we were so poor. And I'm like, really? Like nuts are expensive. Like, and you have to fill tins of them. Like, so already it was a horrible idea. And then I made these nuts and it had honey in them. And I read the directions wrong and I thought the nuts were supposed to cool first and then get them off the pan. Well, no, it was like completely cemented in these pans. Like there was no I was chiseling, like I had like I was trying to get this out and it was not coming out. And I ended up throwing away like the whole baking sheet, like didn't even like, I couldn't salvage it. Yeah. And later someone was like, you should have just put them back in the oven. It would have softened them up. And I was like, well, you weren't there, obviously. Like I did not do that. And then like I made a huge thing of gingerbread dough. And I mean, so much money went into this stuff, like all these different ingredients I've never even ever had before. Yeah. Cloves, I'm buying cloves and ginger. I mean, like, I don't have this stuff, Right. I made it. And it was like, I had the bowl. It was like a heap of ingredients. I can't even stir it. I'm like trying to figure it out. And my husband goes to put his coffee in the microwave and takes it out and dumps the coffee on accident, like into the mix. Like, it was just like, oh my gosh, like this is over. Gosh. And I should have just made coffee ones. Like I should have just been like, this is a new coffee ginger cookie, but I didn't. I just was like, I can't. And so I literally had to mail them like the next day. And I mailed them. I was like, what do I have a lot of? And I had microwave popcorn, like a lot of it. And I just microwaved popcorn and put it in and mailed it. I was like, it must have been so stale when I can imagine microwave popcorn just like in a tin for days in transit, and they're opening it up and it's like just popcorn, like not even.
But you didn't try to drizzle any honey or fudge or no, just straight up microwave popcorn in the mail in a tin can.
Pop it. I was like, ding, another batch is done. Like, I mean, it was like, and put it in the thing. I mean, and I literally like never got invited. I don't know if I said that was the last one they ever had. And then I realized, well, maybe it wasn't. And I just didn't get an invite, but that
Oh
was,
my gosh,
yeah,
they're like, "Don't tell Dory.
don't
We'll
tell her.
do this, but we'll keep Dory out of it."
That was
That's
probably doing
funny.
me a favor, actually. If they did do it, I'm grateful that they did not invite me because
Did you ever get feedback? Did anybody ever say,
no.
"Ooh, that popcorn in the tin can was, like, so delish." No. Yeah. They were just trying to be polite, and by
They
being polite,
were.
they just shut their mouths.
That was
That's
the
a very
Southern
Southern way to
politeness.
handle conflict.
Yes. I
That'll
would
bless your
say something.
heart.
I would have to say, "What was that? Like, why did you send us stale
Yeah.
popcorn?" Like, I should have just kept it not popped and just stuck it in there because at least then they would have got a bag of microwave popcorn out of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and then they
But
could have like, "Oh, I've got a Christmas tin to put this in."
yeah.
That's funny. So that kinda goes back to we'll might as well just plug it again.
Oh my
Hope
gosh.
looks good on you. It's filled with
Thanks.
funny stories like this story, like
Oh my
and
gosh.
it's just filled with these real life stories of you and, just how life happens to you. Okay, so, let's talk about your dog because, I talk all about how my dog and
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not good. We got him off Craigslist. We rescued him off Craigslist. I could say that. We paid $75, which I think was, we overpaid. And it's been a nightmare. We're going on 7 years in April. And I have a whole thing where I talk about people that have spent a lot of money on their dogs, like really, really expensive dogs. Like they don't get me. They're like, oh, that's so bad. I can't believe. And I'm like, right now, do you have a hypoallergenic dog? And they're like, yes, of course he is. And I'm like, stop, say no more. That's why you're doing okay. So I want to hear about what's going on with your dog because I don't think you know
I
my pain.
I we did not tell a lot of people about our dog because we knew we didn't rescue the dog. I mean, if you count paying the breeder like ransom money, like that's what we basically paid to rescue him from the breeder because it was there was it was a lot of money. And
Yeah.
I don't know how I convinced my husband that that was okay because he was like, you like we're like let's pay $75 off the
Yeah.
and I'm usually very frugal. I have no idea what happened. I fell in love. I I love this dog and I was like, I think I can find this money. Like I was like,
Mhm.
I suddenly had money like for it.
Right.
Like I was like,
Yes,
where
you figured out a way.
yeah.
Well, can I just say, that's kind of my PSA now. I'm like, "Listen, do not try to save money on an animal that's gonna be a part of your family for at least 12 to 14 years. This thing is gonna be living in your home
That's so
environment.
true.
It
That's
for
true.
your own peace of mind, for your own, like, "Hey, I wanna go home. My home is my haven."
Yeah.
Do not save money on a
That's
family
not a
pet.
bargain shop. That's not a bargain shopper move.
It is so not a bargain shopper move, and, like, I totally used to mock people that spent thousands and thousands on animals, and now I'm like, "Look who's laughing now. Not them, me." It's just it's the word it's listen, and I love him, and look, I try to cast I see those places that are like pet blessings. I'm like, "Do you have pet exorcisms?" Like, I really think we're dealing with some sort of demonic.
Oh, no. Oh
I've
my
tried to, there's the Bible says this one can come out through prayer and fasting. So we've been fasting the dog, for 2 weeks, and
That's hilarious.
so he
Yes.
barks less loudly, but no, he's a handful and he barks so loud. I feel like we've been
I
on some
have heard your
chats
dog, and I
before.
thought, "That dog I would be afraid of that dog." The bark. I don't know what it looks like
The
actually,
bark
but
alone, the bark alone, and he's not that big of a dog, but the bark alone. So you imagine that all the time.
oh my
All day
gosh.
long,
No.
random things in front of our yard, and it's that kind of bark, and you'll just be sitting there, and it's just like the PTSD is just it's real. So tell
That's
me
hilarious.
how nice it is to have a dog that's like your dog. I wanna hear this. Just
He's,
give me more.
well, he only snuggles, like, we realized that he doesn't know any tricks, and it's because we
Oh,
didn't teach him any tricks.
yeah.
So we're like, "Oh," yeah, but he's actually he's not smart, like, that didn't come with the dog, like, they were like they didn't say, like, "This is a really smart breed." They're like, "This is probably not." the smartest breed, but, like, I don't know what it is, like, all dogs like to go outside, right? Like, I think that's a thing,
Yeah,
like a dog thing, and I'll open the door and he'll stand there. Like, he'll stand there, like, we're like, "Oh my gosh, he's trying to tell us he wants to go out." Like, this is amazing because he took
right.
forever to housebreak, and so I go to open the door and he'll just back up, like he's doing, like, the moonwalk back, like, we're like,
Yeah, yeah,
why did you stand there then? Like, what was the purpose of standing there and
yeah,
waiting for us to come get the door? You
yeah,
knew we're coming to open the door
yeah,
for you
yeah.
and then back up. Like, he doesn't like to go outside. He can't get up on the couch, which I like that feature
Ooh,
of
that
this
is
dog,
a
okay?
beautiful
We have
feature.
to lift him up, but my husband doesn't like it because he's like, "We need stairs for this dog," because he's like, "We don't wanna have to always lift him up every time he wants to get up on the couch." But I'm like, I like it because we can choose, whether or not he's on the couch with us or not. But
Oh,
he's very snug. He's like a snuggle dog, and he's like kind of adamant about snuggling. Like there
oh,
is no chance you're snuggling by yourself. Like
oh,
because
okay.
yeah, if there is a chance to snuggle, and we pretend that he works a job because like right now he's behind me and he's like at work with me. And then sometimes my
Uh-huh.
husband's in his office and he'll go work. I'll say, go work. You got to go work with dad. Like I got other things I got to go do. And dad needs your help. Like he's
Yeah.
waiting for you in there. And he just goes in there and snuggles on his chair. So that's all he does.
So sweet. Does he bark at all? Like, and if he does, what kind of bark are we talking here?
Amazon really infuriates him basically. Apparently if they come, he's like very irritated by that. So
Yeah,
he'll bark at them. It's his only like defense feature.
yeah.
Like is that security bark, like I hear something and that he'll bark like crazy, but it's so little. Like he's
Oh,
7 pounds. So like
oh
there's
gosh.
not a lot to it.
So it's more like, "Oh, he's barking. That's so
Yeah,
cute," kind of
yeah.
thing.
He's
Oh, isn't that
barking
nice?
and he doesn't like people who wear hats. I don't know if there's a hat. He has a background with hats. Like there's some sort of
Something in his
story,
doggy
backstory.
DNA, something to do with that.
So
I
he's
could
not big
handle
on
that. I could totally like, it sounds like a dream come true, and am I right in
yes.
saying he's most likely hypoallergenic? Is that a
Yeah,
correct statement? Yes,
he
okay.
is.
Okay.
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's see, it's checking all the boxes,
no, he doesn't shed, but that means you have to get him haircuts. So I thought, "Oh, good he
okay,
doesn't shed." But haircuts are expensive, like, grooming is very expensive. In fact,
okay.
I kinda got fired from my last groomer, like, they fired me. They
Oh,
just kept upping the price, like, substantially, and then, like, till I, like, left. Like, they were just like, because every time I would pick him up, I'd be like, "No, what is this?" Like,
yeah.
I'd be like I said, "No hair under here." And it would be like all kinds of hair under here, or they'd have like the longest mustache. And I'm like, he's not, I don't know, an old dog. Like he's a puppy. Like I want him to look like a puppy. And I'd have them go back.
They were getting creative license there,
Yes,
kind of like somebody was getting excited with the shears.
yes. I mean, at one
Um,
point he had like a hat of hair, like just it was like tall and
oh,
then
come on.
long like this, like he had an oblong shaped head. I wish I would have took a picture of that one because I was like, what? Like
Yeah.
yeah, I sent it back. Every time I have this, I'd send it back. I was like, "I'm sorry, I can't with this. He doesn't let me cut him, so you're gonna have to fix this." Because so they fired me. I found a new groomer and they're awesome. So
They actually do what you say. Okay,
yeah,
so you're right. One big downfall in the cons column of this kind of breed,
yeah,
you have to take them somewhere to groom them.
yes,
Unless you just wanna get some unless you train them young and then you're sitting there and no thank you. I could
yeah.
already tell you I wouldn't wanna deal with that.
No, I tried to
Um,
give him a haircut one time, and he was
yeah,
asleep on my lap. I was near scissors, and I was like, "I think I can do this."
yeah.
And I cut half of his hair, the half that I could see, and then he woke up, and he didn't let me do the other half. And so that was the first time we had to get him groomed because I was like, I can't, I'm so sorry I started that. And I like two of his legs, like the side of the legs that I could see were groomed. But not anywhere else. So I was like, realized I can't actually do this. Like this is
Yeah.
not one of my skills.
Listen, I just I appreciate it. It gives me hope.
Yeah.
I don't know, we're cat people now. I say the dog forced our hand in that, like, we have 2 cats now. I never thought I'd have 3 actual animals in my home. I grew up with no animals, and I'm not but I just feel like I needed a balance with the dog, and the cats are
Yeah.
really bringing in some good energy and making me like, I can survive this. And, I love my dog, and I don't wanna go down too far that rabbit hole, but there are people out there because I bring it up like every comedy show, just to see if anybody wants to take and, like, make him a rescue dog. I'm like, "Does anybody wanna rescue a dog tonight?" Because, I mean, it's and then
Yeah.
I think sometimes people are like, "Oh, yeah, yeah," and then I think they think, "Oh, she's actually serious," and I am. And I just put it before the Lord, I just keep it's, anyway, so okay, so I know listen, I can talk all day. So your stories are just so funny to me, but tell me now, like, where are you at with comedy? I know you got 3 different tours you're a part of this year. Fast forward, let's talk a little bit about where you're at with your comedy from all those years ago, from doing a half hour first time you ever on stage to where you land today. Let's talk about that.
Sure. Yeah, so I definitely was a full-time mom before I was a full-time comedian for many years. So when I say I've been doing comedy since 2006, I wasn't like a roadie all the time, like on the road constantly. Like I would feel like I should be, better at it at this point if I was doing that. Like I feel like, okay, I can't say I've been doing this for almost 20 years because that sounds like she should be, famous by now or something. But I was definitely more of a full-time mom. I knew that was my call, but I was always doing it. But more recently, just in the last few years, especially since COVID, I think that was really like getting to be back on stage after COVID. I felt like it was just so like, oh my gosh, I've missed this so much. Like, and
Mhm,
I must have started taking it for granted. And so when I got to get back on, it was like a new lease on life, comedian speaking. And I have loved it. Like I just
mhm,
want to do more of it. I love the women. I do a lot of women's ministry events.
mhm,
It's just my heart. I do a lot of other things too, but when I get to do like a girls' night out at a church and like connect with these women, I just light up inside, and I can barely sleep afterwards. I'm such an extrovert like crazy. But I am on 3 tours, and it's not like I'm touring like in a bus with everybody. I would like that, but it'd be fun. But
mhm.
well, not living on the bus probably that wouldn't be as fun. But I'm on the Unknown tour,
Mm,
and with Lauren Lucille. It's incredible, women's ministry tour. I'm on the Funny Together tour, which is
mhm,
with Rhonda Corey, and
mhm,
that's just starting. It's super exciting. And my sister and I are actually doing a tour together called it's Dorie Missy Comedy, but it's also a Blush event through Blush, and so it's a women's ministry event as well, and she is hysterical. She does sketch comedy. You'd like her,
mhm,
Jen. You think you'd crack up because she's so good at that stuff. And we're doing like a multimedia comedy show where there's videos and there's
mhm.
sketch and then there's stand up. So it's a lot of fun. I just enjoy getting to do any of it. Honestly, the more I can do it, the more the happier I am. So I'll add
Mhm.
5 more tours. If anyone's looking for a tour person,
Hey,
I'll
who's
be
got a
on.
story? So,
So,
okay, but people that want to possibly book you or catch you at one of these tours, I'm sure they can go to your website,
yes.
doriecomedy.com,
Yes.
and, get a hold of you and then, kind of see what you got going on. That's
Yeah.
exciting, and, like, it's funny because, my sister and we've done some
Oh,
stuff
that's
together.
right.
So, it's fun. It's fun to be able to,
Yeah.
like there's a natural when you've got sisters or you've got siblings, I think that there's a connection because it starts in childhood. So,
Yeah.
we can kind of just it's so effortless to
Oh,
just
yeah.
kind of go right into, like, improving with my sister because we don't
Oh,
really have to
all
think
the
too
fun.
much
No, we
about it.
share a brain. Honestly, we look
Yeah,
very much alike, and,
yeah.
it's like we share, yeah, we stink at any games that are like Trivia Pursuit or something like that because we don't know a lot of information. Like we grew up very sheltered. But if we play catchphrase or a game like that with our brothers-in-law, like
Oh, yeah.
my 2 sisters and I are like, we are like interconnected in some weird way. It's crazy. But she what was I gonna say about the Oh, well, I'm just realizing how much fun it is to do comedy not by myself. Like, it's so I mean,
Yeah.
I love doing it by myself. I can totally I love to make friends. It's so weird. I like to, like, make friends with, like, the organizers and the people there, and I feel like I'm not a good long distance friend, but I'm a good fast friend. Like, I really like to connect with people quickly, and,
Mhm.
but I have had such a great time just being able to do it with, like, other comedians and my sister, and I mean, it's just been incredible. What a gift to be able to do this. Like,
Yeah.
I love it so much. So, that's been really fun for me this last couple years, because I before that, it was all me just by myself, or I'd be opening for someone, but that was like I was never traveling in a pack like that. So it's super fun for me. And I
Yeah.
do still do it by myself. And sometimes I bring my husband as my roadie or a good, a friend, and we laugh a lot and have a lot of fun. And my husband likes to sell my books. He thinks he has a record that he's trying to break every time. And he likes to be he always asks people when they come to the table, he goes, how many do you want? Like, he's like, assume the sale. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, but he
Hey,
sell out the books.
listen, that's the kind of person you want, helping, who else do you want? Now tell me, you don't want one of these books, do you?
Right,
You
right.
couldn't possibly afford it. I mean, maybe want no. I mean, is it too much pressure? Yeah, like you want that person that just
I'm
assumes the
actually the
sale.
worst one to sell my books. If I'm at the
I
table by myself, oh my gosh. I I'm mortified because my face is on there, Jen, and
yeah.
I didn't think that through exactly. I mean, I
What?
think
I
it's
love it.
it's fun, but when you're standing there and people are, like, coming up to your table and
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh my gosh, did you write this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah, and they're like, "Well, tell me about it." And I'm like, "Well, it's a 21-day devotional, and it's a funny story, usually at my expense, and there's a, Bible story, and there's a journal prompt," and then they go, "Oh, okay." And then they walk away, and you're, like, sitting there, and you're like, "Oh my gosh." Like, I never wanna do this again. Like, I
Yeah.
wish I could just fall, like, behind the table. It's
Oh,
bad.
I don't like I can sell somebody else all
Yeah,
day long. But when it's me, it's so hard. Like when I'm on the
yeah,
phone trying to give quotes for, bookings, it's
yeah.
so hard to just shut my mouth, speak. I don't like it. I
No.
cringe at some of these things. And I know there are some comedians out there, they're so good at the conversation. They're
Yeah.
so good at that. And I'm like, as soon as I cannot have to be the person to answer the phone call,
Yeah.
to negotiate, because deep down, there's just this it's hard. It's
Yeah, I
hard.
will talk people down from the amount or whatever it is, like, "Oh, you probably." I mean, by the end of the
Yeah,
conversation, I'm like,
yeah.
"I'll probably pay you, it's fine, I'll pay you to come."
Yeah, I'm sorry. Should I take up an offering here at my local church and bring it to you guys? I mean, I just can't thank you enough. I mean, I should there's that weird I don't and I get it. Let's be confident.
Yeah.
But there's still that it's
Well,
just
we're the
hard.
product, that's the problem. We're the product, like, and you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I can't be like, "You guys should totally have me, I'm so funny."
I'm amazing, guys. I'm hysterical. Or what the hardest thing is when you're on the phone trying to get the booking,
Yeah.
and I feel like they want a little comedy right then and there. And I'm
Yes. Oh,
like, I can be the most serious person, so it's almost like I feel this pressure to be like, "Give them a little glimpse of the glory, Jen. Give them a little glimpse of the funny," but, like, deep down, it's not I'm
yeah.
just, like, in my head trying to negotiate a sale, and I'm not on like that. Or I've also learned just the things I don't know. I don't appreciate or enjoy, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Yes. Oh my
But,
god.
yeah, or the people that when you get booked, they wanna be funny, and then
Oh.
everything they say has gotta be really funny. You better laugh real loud because, it's just this like, "Ah!" And I'm an encourager anyway. It doesn't take much to get me
I'm not
laughing
I'm
and
actually
going
terrible
along.
on the phone. I say awkward things on the phone.
Yeah.
I don't it's like I don't know how to talk on it at all. Like, I've gotten way too comfortable texting and, like, emailing, and I'm like, when I get on the phone, I'm like, "Ugh," just there's that, like, I don't know, it's a weird,
It's the hardest thing because it's like I have to be like a serious or like I have to be like, don't say too much, don't say too little, and just shut your mouth. But like deep down, I want to be like, "Hug, hug, 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 hug," and it's just there's an awkwardness. Like I will the day that I could, and God may never, I don't know if that day will come, but
But
that I could never have to talk to that person and negotiate over the phone.
right,
There will
right.
be the day that I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Um, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like it. I
Well, I
just
I don't even like, when I talk to people, like, even, like, I would call to have a question about, like, I had to call, like, I think my doctor or something, and I had to talk to someone, and it was something complicated I was trying to explain, and I
Mhm.
started explaining it, and then I just got really, like, flustered and, like, confused about what I was saying, and I just said to the lady, I go, "Can I start over?" And she was like, Yes, like, you can start over." Like, it was just like that was like, I'm so awkward. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. It's
yeah, yeah, I get it. It's just it's this weird part of life that we have to talk and I don't mind like, did you ever do prank phone calls when you were a kid?
I was terrified, but I did do them with, like, my sister would be the instigator of those, and then I would get stuck doing them. So I would always laugh, and I feel like I was lying, so I'd always be like, "Just kidding," and then, like, get off the phone really fast. I was the worst one to do it. So my sister was like, "I'll do it. You suck at it. You stink at that." And I'm like, "Oh." Yeah, I didn't wanna lie. So I was like, yeah, I wasn't good at it, but you were probably good at it because you could do all
I was
voices
really
and
good at it. It was like
oh,
I was like, I'm working on my book right now, and I'm, like, realizing, like, I would call other people's parents and act like a parent to get them to sleep over at a house. Like, I didn't have Jesus then, really, so,
hilarious.
everything was on the table for and, yeah, just the stuff I would do, calling restaurants, acting like a disgruntled parent, and I'm gonna now sending my kid there to pick up that pizza, and you guys better do it right, which me and my friends just wanted a pizza. Like, the
No
stuff
way.
I would do. I'm like, I was pretty much like I was the kid people were like, "Do not hang out with that girl.
That
She's
is
bad news."
hilarious.
And listen, I would I they if every parent, I would support them in saying that, looking
That
back
is
at who I was back in the
funny.
day. I
I
didn't put
remember
myself
doing just, like, one prank where we called someone at like a 7-Eleven or something that was open
yeah,
24 hours,
yeah.
and it was like we asked if we could buy part of a bag of chips. Like, if we were like, "If we can't afford the whole bag of chips, then can we buy a bag?" I mean, we thought we were, like, hilarious, and,
Yeah.
that one I was like, "Okay, I'm on board because it's not gonna hurt anybody. He's probably bored anyway,"
Yeah.
but I was like other than that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous." Like,
Yeah.
I
Oh. Oh,
I
it's
love
like
that.
oh, yeah. It's just funny, and now, being on the phone, I just have to act like a professional. So I just
Mhm.
assume, like, what would a normal person act like in this situation? And I just become that normal person and try to just stop talking, like, filling in that little weird air gap because that's always awkward for me. Like,
Oh,
any
I always
silence is
fill
like,
in the air gap.
"Oh,
That is my go-to move.
mhm."
I have to fill dead air, like, and that's where it gets awkward. The other person just stops talking, and then I just keep just talking, and it's just like, there's just this long I mean, I will just go, and it's not, yeah. I hate
Yeah.
especially, I was on this group Zoom call one time with,
Mhm.
someone, and, I was there's this group of us, and everyone was being quiet, and this
Yep.
person was being kinda quiet, and I just felt like I needed to take the lead on the
Mhm.
talking, and it was like, I was pointing out, like, a vase in their picture, like, and commenting on it because I had no content. I had nothing to say, and I was just gonna keep talking, though. There was not yeah, so I get
It's
that. That's on
you
the
know,
phone.
listen, I have a similar gift. Like, if you need me to keep a conversation going, throw me in the room. I'm gonna keep something going. However, I do know when it's time to come off that when we got the flow because when there's always that one person that's like they don't have the off switch and then you're like okay. And then, like, you kinda have to decide, am I ready to get in this conversation with that person? Do I have what it takes to
The
go the
energy.
distance with this person? Because some people just don't have the off button. And, sometimes they're fun when you're tired and you're just like, "Just talk. I'm not
Mhm.
thinking much. You just go for it. I'll do my best to listen." But,
I
yeah,
think I'm
so
that person for some people. I'm like, I know 'em a little
I think
much.
I'm that person for my husband. He's probably like, "Please stop talking." And I'm like, you can just see the eyes glazing, and I'm like, "Oh, you're not even care. You don't care." No.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
it's hilarious.
he's like, "Really?" No, so I had to ask, like, is that for you and your husband? Is he an extrovert or is he an introvert? Because if you're the extrovert, there's
Yeah.
gotta be some sort of balance going on there.
So he is an introvert for sure.
Mhm.
He likes his downtime, but what's good is he isn't he'll be outgoing when he needs to be. Because 'cause I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't know if I could have handled it if he was just
yeah.
super introverted and never talking. Like he's very personable, but he needs the downtime. And
Okay.
like when we dated, he actually was he traveled with 2 different drama teams. Like he was like into
Ah!
that stuff, yeah. And we actually I was in college, I put on it was called JC Powerhouse, and it was like a Saturday Night Live
Uh-huh.
event at our school. And so I was emceeing that and putting the acts together and stuff. And we actually did I don't know if you remember Saturday Night Live, the cheerleaders
Oh,
skit
yeah.
with Will
Mhm.
Ferrell, and yeah.
Yeah, that
And
was,
me and
March,
him
yeah. Yeah, I know what
yeah,
you mean, though.
me and my husband were the cheerleaders
Yeah.
and did several like a series of skits over the course of like a year or so of different ones that we
Aw.
would adapt. We adapted them to like cheering for Christmas or cheering for whatever, like and
Right.
wrote the skits and so we were kind of an outgoing couple, but as
Mm.
we got more, I mean, involved, and got married, I realized, oh, you're actually an introvert. Like, because when he's around people a lot, he likes it, okay, now by himself, and I'm like, "Yes, more people." I mean, like, once I have a people time, I have trouble sleeping. I am, like, so
I have
excited.
that, but I also have that, like, "Okay, now I'm done." Like, I don't need to be around people for a while. And my
You get your
husband's
feel.
different too, like, he's kind of a natural introvert, but then yet in certain situations, like, example, hotel room, continental breakfast morning, like, I don't really wanna go see people first thing. He'll go down there, he'll get like, we have this good because when I go down, now I'm on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, when I
it's
the
true.
minute I get around people, it's like, I'm on. So sometimes it's like, I don't wanna be around people because I don't wanna be on. I don't
Yeah,
have what it takes to be on. So I'm a little and he can literally be in a crowd of people and not be on and be completely comfortable with that, like, not say anything, go get the
right.
continental breakfast, not feel like he has to make funny little jokes about the butter or random things that you just feel like you know
So
what I
true.
mean? You gotta keep it going, and I'm like, I just don't.
Yes.
I just so
Oh my gosh.
it's funny that you and well, see, my husband and I, like, he's my best friend. I love my husband. We do funny voices together.
Oh,
We
fun.
joke around together, so, it's just kinda cool because sometimes other comedians, like, maybe the spouse is just very not much, they're completely
Right.
opposite. So it's kinda cool that you and your spouse can kinda share
Yeah.
just share this together that he can so I don't my husband helps me, he'll help me when I'm writing. He
Oh,
can
that's
give me the
awesome.
little tags sometimes, he'll say, "Hey, say this," or the worst though, he's really good at it, but then he also doesn't laugh sometimes at things. I'm like
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh my gosh," so and then I get kinda angry, I'm like, "I support your stuff, and I'm always encouraging, and you don't" and really, it's, like, kinda good that he's not laughing at everything, because then it would be like I
Right,
really
right.
do need someone that's a little has, somewhat of a critical not critical, but you know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
need
my
the easy
husband
laugh.
has a real silent laugh, it's not really that big, but then we went to this one comedy show, and he laughed really loud at someone, and I looked at him, and I was like it was embarrassing, like, how loud it was, and I was, like,
Yeah,
looking at him like, "Oh, I see, like, you do laugh out loud, you just don't laugh out loud at me." I was like,
I
"Oh,"
know.
but he lives a lot of it. So, like, that
Yeah,
funny story that happens in the middle of the night with pasta isn't as funny when it's actually happening. Like, it's
yeah,
crazy, but it's not. It's like he's lived through a lot of the part of it that's like, "Ha, ha, ha, oh, you don't clean that's so funny. Like, yeah, like like, that's not as funny to him as,
Right.
but he does get a kick out, we have fun together, and yeah, he likes to be at the events, and he's very supportive. So
But
I'm really blessed that way.
yeah. And you listen, you gotta hang on to that. It's wonderful. But, it's good that you've got that balance and a partner, and, sometimes it's probably good that you kinda can I know sometimes when something really works and I get that laugh, I'm like, "Okay, it's working."
Yes.
Or I don't know if you get this. I love my husband too, but sometimes some things he tries to add in, I'm like, "Oh, I don't think that's even close to being funny." And I'm just like, "Okay, great." And I'm just like, "No way I'm saying that." Or, you know what I mean? I don't know, it could go
Yes.
either way,
Oh,
but,
yeah, his humor is different than mine sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think that would work in a women's ministry. Like, it's
yeah,
not, like, inappropriate, but it's like, that's a guy would say that. Like, women are not gonna respond to that, or, it's
yeah,
just, like, there's some things that I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, we're not gonna go that far, babe."
yeah, yeah. Aw. So do you ever feel like deep down he wants to take the stage every now and then or get
I've
him out?
threatened to actually, like, make a website for him and get him out there, because sometimes he'll make me take gigs that I'm like, "Babe, you would never have taken this gig." Like, he convinced me to do a gig at Six Flags. Yeah,
Really?
it was a corporate event,
Uh-huh,
and it was literally outside.
uh-huh.
It was probably 101 degrees in Texas that day.
Oh
There
gosh.
was a roller coaster behind me, going off, like, the whole time, like, just
Mhm.
I mean, every few seconds. They didn't have a stage for me, they just had a microphone.
Oh.
I looked like I was just in line for ice cream at some points, um, and no one was listening. It was the worst, and he was laughing his butt off in the crowd because he knew, like, this was
How miserable you were?
yeah, he knew how miserable it was, and he was the one that was like, take it," because it was a good amount of money, and it was, like, 2 days away, so I knew
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna get something else. So I was like, I would never have accepted this, like, months out, because I would have been like, "No, that's a terrible idea." But
yeah.
I thought, "Well, maybe it's not bad," and
Mhm.
he convinced me, and then is laughing at it. So I was like, "I should just make you a little, like, little website, and, make you take all the bookings that are crazy." And,
Yeah,
it was actually for a great cause. I felt bad because I should have seen it. I didn't picture it the way it was, and I should have said, "I'm not a good fit," but I didn't know it till I got there that I was like, "Wow, this is not gonna go well." And,
yeah.
yeah, condition you just see it and go, "Whoa, yeah, this is not conducive to
Outdoor gigs
comedy."
are usually not conducive for
Oh,
comedy. Let's
it's
just leave
bad,
that
yeah.
there. Usually tip unless it's literally, "This is only thing we're doing out here is
Right,
comedy." When you got, "Hey, it's the county fair," and or it's this and it's that, and you're just out in the open air and you're just kind of white noise in the background for most people. It's
yeah.
can do a number on you.
It was
But,
bad. But
yeah.
he was yeah, so I've threatened to yeah, because I think I he does actually tell a few funny stories. He has a few things that I'm like, "That's a Brian story," like, just stuff. So I'm like, "You know what? You could come up with a little act, and I should just put you out there. All the ones I don't want, I'll just be like, 'Well,
Yeah.
actually, I know a great comedian.' My
Yeah.
husband dabbles in comedy and could go to your birthday party and do your event." I mean,
Listen, hey, why not, man? Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep the
right?
money in the keep it in the family,
I know.
and yeah, make him take the gigs. Why not? So
Like, "Babe, I do not want this one. This is all you."
I know. Well, listen, we could talk all day, but I'm looking at the time. We're getting up on the hour, and I try to keep it within the hour. But so folks can find you, those that are going to be wanting to just kind of check out your comedy or know more about any of the tours that you're on, your dorycomedy.com.
Yes, and there's
And
actually a free, 3-day devotional on my, like, you can click 3-day devotional and get a little free download of the 3 days of the book, so in case they're interested, so on
yeah,
that same website on the website, yeah.
it's on the website. So
Yeah.
yeah, go check it out. Get a free devotional and um the book is for sale for all of those that are wanting just something kind of funny but spiritual at the same time.
Yeah.
Love this. And I know you're currently working on a second book from what I've
Yes,
heard. Yeah.
yes, yes. So
So
similar, format. another devotional book, but more stories, different stories, obviously. So it'll be good.
Well, I think that's gonna be another hit, and, yeah, thanks for coming on. We'll have to do this again sometime. So
So
excited to
fun.
get on here and laugh with you this morning. So, all
Yay.
right, well, we will do this again, and, all right, well, we're gonna end it.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you
All right,
so much.
all right, thanks.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.